Hello and welcome. So really, there's really only one place to start this video, really. You've seen the headline, so it will be remiss of me not to start it this way. So straight away we go, just a little flavor of the Holy Holy song as we record a bit of a victory for the Southeast. So Holy Holy.
Another Savior. Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior. Another Savior. Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior. Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War.
So there you heard it, Holy Holy. So of course, I mean, this is not really breaking news to probably most of you. Nnamdi Kanu has scored somewhat of a minor victory. So it's not the war that's been won yet, but a significant battle has been won by the Southeast. So straight away, let me just bring up the what's causing the excitement, the article, the storyline that is causing all the excitement. So let's just find it and bring it up. Let's take it from here. So we take it from here and we share this. So hopefully, let me scroll so that you can see the headline yourself. So there it is right there. Hopefully, let me just come into the room. See, okay, so there it is. So that's the headline right there. So that is what is causing all the that is what is causing all the excitement in the southeast. Uh, Court strikes out 8 of 15 terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu. So that is the victory. Then I wouldn't even call it a minor victory, but we cannot really call it a major victory either. But it is certainly a significant victory. So there's no getting away from this. This is a slap in the face of the Nigerian state. Court strikes out 8 out of 15 terrorism charges against Nnamdi Kanu. So now let's find out exactly what transpired. Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court Abuja on Friday struck out 8 out of the 15 terrorism and felony charges preferred by the federal government against the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice Nyako freed Kanu on the 8 counts whilst ruling on a preliminary objection filed by the IPOB leader. In this instance, preliminary injunction application, I have read the counts and come to the conclusion that counts 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 have not disclosed any offense against the defendant against rather the defendant. Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 15 show some allegations which the defendant has to answer. So this is breaking story, of course. This is breaking news. The court shall proceed to try the defendant on those counts. So that is what Justice Yako is saying. But that is from the Punch, as you saw. But we're not just taking it. Let me come off that too. Yeah, so that is from the Sun, as you saw. But we're not just taking it from the Sun. We want to take it from as many flavors as we can. So let's take it from another. We'll take it from another readout from another article to see if there's more detail, and then we'll take a video that presents a counter narrative for balance. So this is what we're going to do. So we go in the celebratory readouts first, and then we pause for caution with the counterbalance from the government lawyer, and then we see what conclusions we form. So let's do it that way. Let me now bring up the second article. Where is that? Bear with me one moment, and there it is. So yeah, let's take it from here. I've not read any of these articles, by the way, so we're reading it just off the bat together. So that's the second one showing there. Let me come into the room to see. Yes, it is on the screen. So let me just make sure that the headline is showing. So this is from the International Center for Investigative Reporting. So this is an international portal, International Center for Investigative Reporting. So you can see Nnamdi Kanu with his retinue of lawyers, although we don't see Mike Ozokome. So this might well be an old picture of Nnamdi Kanu that they're using. So that's it right there, that picture. So you don't see Mike Ozokome there. So that then, so although you see Ifeanyi Ejiofor, if I'm not mistaken, the light-skinned gentleman, and the headline similar to the one we just read, court to try Nnamdi Kanu on 7 of 15 terrorism charges filed by the federal government. So that is how they've chosen to write that headline. Uh, 8 out of the 15 charges preferred against the leader of the proscribed. So let's do that again. 8 out of the 15 charges preferred against the leader of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra IPOB Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigerian government has been struck out. The charges, which include counts 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, although that reads differently from what we read. Let's just see what counts. The other one is other one. It was different in. Sorry, I'm not being pedantic, but let's check to see what counts they said in the punch. So in the punch they said I have read the counts and come to the conclusions that count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14. So, yes, it struck me because it was in sequence in the punch, but it's not in sequence in that international journal. So, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14. So, only 13 missing in that space. But with this one now, it says the charges, which includes count 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, uh, 12, 13, and 14. So they omitted 8 in the Guardian, in the Punch one, but they added 13 in this one, which was omitted in that one. So it's just really to get the sequence right. The charges, which includes count 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, were struck out by the trial judge, Justice Pinta Nyako, of the Federal High Court Abuja on Friday. The judge ruled that the IPOB leader will now stand trial on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 15. Okay, let's see if there's more. Because I wanted to know what those charges are, but it's not been explained so far. But I'm sure it will come because this is just breaking story now. Kanu's lawyer Michael Zokome has asked the court in a 36-paragraph affidavit to quash the entire charges for being defective and baseless. He argued that the court lacks the jurisdiction to entertain the charges brought against his client by the prosecuting team. We are praying for an order striking out, quashing, and dismissing the amended 15-count charge for being incompetent, he said. Ozokome also prayed for an order discharging and acquitting the defendant of the charges where same has been dismissed by the court. According to him, looking at the criteria of the entire charge, it did not disclose any prima facie evidence. He said, "You are accusing Kanu of making some broadcasts. You did not say where these broadcasts were made." The senior advocate of Nigeria said his client was unlawfully renditioned from Kenya in violation of international protocol on extradition. However, counsel to the federal government, SM Laraban, urged the court to dismiss Kanu's application and order him to open his case. The application lacks substance. We therefore urge your lordship to gracefully refuse this application and direct the prosecution to open its case in accordance with the practice of the Federal High Court. Labaran argued that the court had jurisdiction to hear the matter going by the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. With respect to jurisdiction, Section 32 of the Terrorism Act states that the Federal High Court has jurisdiction to try offenses anywhere it is committed, he said. In her ruling, Justice Nyako held that in the instant preliminary objection application, counts 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 have not disclosed any offense by the defendant. She acknowledged that counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, and 15 showed some allegations. Pardon me, let me have a sip of water. She acknowledged that counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, and 15 showed some allegations against the IPOB leader. She ruled that Kanu's trial would proceed on the counts. On rendition, the judge ruled that there was already a bench warrant on the defendant, noting that he was a fugitive before the court. So that rendition now, it looks as though she's looking to dismiss it out of hand. And that is one of the key spaces that the Inand Kanu defense is predicated upon. So let's read that paragraph again. On the rendition, the judge ruled that there was already a bench warrant on the defendant, noting that he was a fugitive before the court. So actually, there's something highlighted in blue here. The court also noted that the prescription of IPOB was still a matter pending before the appeal court, and as such, the order proscribing the organization was subsisting until it was vacated, or until it is vacated, I should say. So, so that is, well, actually quite noting as well, actually. So what she's saying essentially is that IPOB remains a proscribed organization because they were proscribed, and matters challenging that prescription is still with the appeal court pending determination. The court also noted that the prescription of IPOB was still a matter pending before the appeal court, and as such, the order proscribing the organization was subsisting until it was vacated. So there it is right there. So that's just but let's not take away at all from the celebration a major victory for the Nnamdi Kanu narrative. So let's just see. Let's do actually let's together. Let me share this as well. Actually, uh let's do a Google search together to see what charges are actually levied against Nnamdi Kanu, so that we know then what charges are being removed. So let me share Google. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, hold on. I'm just trying to share Google with you so that yes. Okay, yeah. So let me share Google with you so that we can together find out just what charges were levied against Nnamdi Kanu, so that we know then what charges have been removed. So here is Google. Let's share that. Okay, so charges levied against Nnamdi Kanu. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so let's see if this gives. Aha, let's hopefully this does give us. This is from the Tribune, and so hopefully it does give us. It gives us a bullet point of the charges, so we know then what the charges are. No, it does not. It's I could do the search, but I don't want this video to draw out unnecessarily long. Uh, okay, I might well just I might just have to pause that. I mean, maybe that's just something for you guys to do and share in the comment section, because it doesn't give us a detailed bullet point of the charges. Uh, okay. All right. Okay. Pardon me. Let's leave that for a moment because I wanted to share a video with you as well. This is from the government lawyer responding to the pronouncements by the court today. So let's hear what the government's lawyer has to say. So let's see. Let me just let me bring it up now. Hold on. Yeah. Just to marry the pictures together. So let's hear what the government lawyer has to say.
What was the outcome of the ruling?
Well, you will recall that on the
So that, by the way, the person speaking is the government's lawyer. So let's listen to him.
last adjournment,
In court today. What was the outcome of the ruling?
well, you will recall that on the last adjournment, you will all recall that on the last adjourned date, we move an application seeking for the discharge of the defendants on all the counts, the 15 counts filed against the defendants. And the court, in its wisdom, now reviewed all the charges and discovered that, with the exception of 7 counts, about 8 counts appear to be similar, and those charges were struck out. Now, it would be also understood that in the argument of the defendants, the accounts that is reflected appear to be similar.
Sorry, I'm just going to move it back for a moment because it said something there that I want us to take note of. So pay attention.
Defendants. And the court, in its wisdom, now reviewed all the charges and discovered that, with the exception of 7 counts, about 8 counts appear to be similar.
Okay, that's where I wanted us to listen to. So he's telling us that they're holding on to, the judge has decided to hold on to. Let me just bring him off the screen for a moment. I'll bring him back. So he's telling us that the court decided to strike out 8 of the 15 charges and hold on to 7 for reasons that it was discovered that the charges are too similar. So I wanted you to land on that because I wanted to take you back to what Mike Ozokome said, that the entirety of the case should be struck off for reasons of it being incompetent. So that incompetence that Mike Ozokome is highlighting is also being noted by the judge. If 8 out of a 15, that's more than half of the charges that were levied were repetitive, then essentially that is incompetence. So did they think that they get more chances with however many charges they levy against Kanu is the question. So that is the incompetence that Osokome is saying, and the judge somewhat concurs from just what that guy said. So I just allow me to let us listen to it one more time with that as the backdrop, the incompetence, and he admits it now. But listen again.
And those charges on all the counts, the 15 counts filed against the defendants. And the court, in its wisdom, now reviewed all the charges and discovered that, with the exception of 7 counts, about 8 counts appear to be similar, and those charges were struck out. Now, it would be also understood that in the argument of the defendants, the accounts that is reflected in the charges, when you go to the charge, you get to know all the counts. But all the counts relating to terrorism are really sustained by the courts. And make heavy weather.
Okay. No, I didn't actually want to remove him. I wanted to.
You all recall that in the argument of the defendants.
Sorry, I wanted to pause it at a point, but let me move it to that point because I want us to note what he's saying there. That all the charges relating to terrorism are still subsisting. All the terrorism related charges, Nnamdi Kanu still has to answer to and for. But what has happened is that the judge has condensed those charges now into the narrowness of just 7 charges. So let's hear him say it again. So listen, pay attention.
Counts relating to terrorism are really sustained by the courts. That is reflected in the charges. When you go to the charge, you get to know all the counts. But all the counts relating to terrorism are really sustained by the courts. And make heavy weather on.
So all the charges relating to terrorism are sustained by the court. So those are the 7 charges that are still subsisting. And it's saying all the terrorism related charges are still sustained. So really the most serious charges that are Nnamdi Kanu is facing, they're still subsisting. So it is we have to have that as a backdrop in our understanding of this. I know the excitement and I share the excitement, but the reality is that the terrorism charges still subsist according to the government lawyer, and those are still contained in the 7 charges that is still being asked to answer to. So let's hear him round off, and then we'll round off. Interesting space though. So I want to have a real conversation with you guys around this. So if you have any thoughts on this, please come share them with me in the comment section because this is a space that I, like everyone else, have been following pretty much all the way through. So let's see what we're making of it. But let's hear this guy round off his thoughts, and then we'll round off ours. So back to the government lawyer.
In the charges, when you go to the charge, you get to know all the counts. But all the counts relating to terrorism are really sustained by the courts. And make heavy weather on the issue of rendition. And the courts bluntly said that rendition in this situation is allowed because rendition
Of the ruling.
courts bluntly said that
Sorry, I'm pausing it there for a moment. I didn't even know he was going to say that. I had not watched this. You see, I don't tend to watch these things in advance because then I can react to it genuinely along with you guys. So this is me encountering this with you just for the first time. I only bring it off the back of the headline. But what he said is similar to what was actually highlighted in blue. I shall put a link to the articles that I'm reading these things out of, so you can read them yourself as well. So in the article, let's just let's bring in that article that we read at with the international journal. Let's bring that back on the screen again. So let's bring that back on the screen. Okay, and remind ourselves about this paragraph. So let me make sure that the right paragraph is showing. Yeah, that's the paragraph right there. So that's highlighted in blue. That blue bit is what I'm reading. If you can't read it properly, don't worry. I'll post the link in the comment section so you can see it. So what this says is the court also noted that. Oh no, that's not the one. So I think it's the paragraph above that. So this is the one now. So I'll highlight it with my cursor so you know where I am reading. So this is where I am reading. It says, this is what Justice Binta Nyako said. On rendition, the judge ruled that there was already a bench warrant on the defendant, noting that he was a fugitive before the court. So the rendition being declared illegal was essentially what the Nnamdi Kanu lawyers were pleading the court to accept. But it looks as though that sounds like a rejection. On rendition, the judge ruled that there was already a bench warrant on the defendant, noting that he was a fugitive before the court. So that is what the judge said. So now the interpretation now from this lawyer. So let's go to what the lawyer now has to say. So let's listen to the lawyer now.
and make heavy weather on the issue of rendition. And the court bluntly said that rendition in this situation is allowed, because rendition in criminal law, in criminal case, is allowed. After all, the defendant is under a bench warrant, and anywhere he's seen, the law.
So yeah, so you heard. So you heard the lawyer there. The rendition in this instance is allowed because the person being charged in this instance, Nande Kanu, is already wanted by the court, and there's a court bench warrant to effect his arrest. So he's saying that the court pronouncement is that rendition in this instance is allowed. And that is one of the pleas of the Nnamdi Kanu lawyers, to say that because he was renditioned, that voids the case, because you cannot, through an act of criminality, get justice. But the court is saying that you can. So listen to the lawyer again, and then sorry, I'm pausing. I'm sure you understand why I'm going back and forth, because these are important matters that has to be dealt with in a proper manner. So let's hear the lawyer again. I'm moving it back a little bit more so we get a run through to hear him say it. I'll try not to pause it anymore because the video is now a lot longer than I anticipated. So back to the lawyer.
And the court bluntly said that rendition in this situation is allowed, because rendition in criminal law, in criminal case, is allowed. After all, the defendant is under a bench warrant, and anywhere he's seen, the law allows him to be taken.
So there it is right there. So that's the both sides of the divide. So a major victory for the Nnamdi Kanu case, because of course they've condensed the case now to just 7 charges. So dismissing 8 out of the 15 charges that Abubakar Malami leveled against Kanu. But how much of a victory is it? The government lawyer is explaining that the terrorism charges still subsist, and that renditioning, which is one of the key planks of the Nnamdi Kanu defense, that the renditioning is also allowed by law. So that is how it has played out. So a big day for the Eastern space and for the Nnamdi Kanu narrative. A victory, there's no taking away from it. A real victory, if nothing else, for the fact that it goes on to highlight what Michael Zokome had pleaded with the court to strike out the whole case for reasons of incompetence. So incompetence, the judge agreed, but she did not agree to strike out the case. So that is where we are, the latest development, the up-to-date situation with the Nnamdi Kanu narrative. So we'll go out now. Conversations in the comment section. Come share your thoughts about all this with me in the comment section, and it's highlighted in bold red on the screen. Please like, share, and subscribe. Just to acknowledge the effort that I've made. If you want to acknowledge it at all, that's at your discretion. But we leave this space as we came in. We can only really leave it with the Holy Holy song. So Holy Holy.
Another Savior, holy, 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 another Savior, holy, 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 holy.